entrepreneurs, local and international business. The Be Smart Services Hot Seat goes behind the scenes to see what makes their business stand out from the crowd.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are very fortunate today to have Russ Bates with us. I'm Klarissa Botes from Be Smart Services. Russ, a very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Russ, I know that it's morning over there with you guys. You're located in Australia, right?
Actually, Ohio, U.S., so middle part of the United States.
Great to have you with us, Russ.
Good to be here.
Russ, you have a very unique and a wonderful story to share with us about your background and about your business. Can you please tell us the story about the background of yourself and as well as your business?
Yeah, sure. I grew up in the Midwest of the United States. I grew up in southern Indiana. That's where I call home, and I also call that kind of the coal country of that state of America. And it's I grew up on an actual old coal mine that my great grandfather worked at way back in the 20s, 30s, and into the 40s, 1940s. There's a lot of coal mines. There's a lot of coal-fired power plants in southern Indiana where I grew up, and as part of that, I became an electrician, an IBEW electrician, and my very first job was working at a coal-fired power generation facility. I spent a large portion of my career at various stages as an electrician, from working with my tools to being a foreman, general foreman, superintendent, and to eventually running the electrical department for my company at that time. And it was primarily in the coal-fired power generation sector. I ended up getting an opportunity to come to another state, Ohio, which is where I live now, as part of a joint venture with a company called Bechtel to build a combined cycle plant. And that's a natural gas, another fossil fuel power gen facility. And that one was 750 megawatts, so produced quite a bit of electricity. And that wrapped up in late 2017. And I'd made a life here in Ohio, decided to go ahead and stay and move here full time, and became married, some stepchildren that made a big change in my life. And at that time, I also decided I want to go ahead and transition into the clean energy sector. As a kid growing up, seeing solar powered calculators, for example, I always thought that was pretty cool. You don't need batteries and you don't need to plug it in, and the thing works. It was just pretty amazing to me. So I had a lot of hope and promise for solar, for battery storage, of course, and wind and those types of things, and started making that move into that clean energy sector as the technologies advanced, as the cost of these technologies dropped, making them more economical for everybody to get into. With that, I had the opportunity to work on some large projects, some large wind projects I was associated with, some large solar projects. And as I looked around, I kind of was scratching my head a little bit of, all right, I see how these great big projects work. And I see for like solar, residential customers, homeowners that put solar on their house, right? That put 15 kW of solar on their house. But I didn't see anybody working with small businesses and small municipalities. That really puzzled me. And so I searched high and low to find a company that actually does that. And I really couldn't find one, especially here in the Midwestern part of the U.S. where I live. And I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to help. It became very important to me to move forward and see what I could do as an individual to make a difference. And I decided the best way I could do that was to become a small business owner myself And so I created NXTGEN Clean Energy Solutions. It's NXTGEN is short for next generation. We came up with that name after a lot of discussion, and everybody, I think, has their own next generation, right? So for me, it's my stepchildren. I've got three beautiful stepchildren, two twin-year-old boys that just turned 13, a 17-year-old stepdaughter. They're very passionate about the environment, and they've transferred that passion to me. I always, again, really thought the technology was pretty cool. I saw a lot of promise in it, but their passion for the environment has really, kind of become my passion as well. And we decided everybody's got their next generation. That's my next generation. Let's call it NXTGEN, kind of shorten it up and call it NXTGEN Clean Energy Solutions. So with that, the company, NXTGEN, we work with small businesses, small municipalities, residential folks, but really anybody who's interested in clean energy in the form of solar, battery storage, electric vehicle charging is something we're pretty in depth with doing. We're also looking at some other technologies to bring on board as offerings, all clean energy stuff to add to the arsenal. So we'll work with clients to consult. We'll go into a facility, try to customize something that's best for them. We take into account, of course, budgets, whatever tax incentives that they may be eligible for. We factor that in as well. Schedules, future expansion. Are they maybe going to relocate at some point? Those types of things. We look at all of that, and there's no cookie cutter. We try to make everything specifically for that client, and then we develop that project, and we can bring all the EPC folks, the engineering, procurement, construction firms in. We can get competitive bids and get our clients the best possible option. We're working for them. We treat each project as if it was our facility that we're doing this in. So we want to be very cognizant of what are the client's goals and what can we do to make that come to life for them. So concept to completion is really what NXTGEN is all about. We're pretty fluid. We can jump in different stages. We can go all the way from the beginning to the end, or pop in anywhere in the middle part of that equation to make these things work. So it's pretty important to us to make these projects go.
Wow, that is such an incredible story, Russ. Thank you so much for sharing that with us and our viewers. That is really a brilliant story. Russ, I can see that you really have a big passion for what you do, and I'm so glad that you took the initiative to say, if I don't do something about this, who will? And seeing how NXTGEN was born, that's really an incredible story. And of course, if we think logically about it, if we don't do something about the current situation today, what is going to be left for the next generation? So my question would be, Russ, what do you think that we as individuals, as well as business owners, can do to help you guys in your mission to achieve what you want to achieve with the energy?
That's a really good question. And my answer is pretty consistent, is the education piece, understanding what these clean energy technologies are all about. In the United States, there's either this side or this side, it seems. You get this news channel saying one thing, you get this news channel saying the exact opposite. And I fell victim to that myself. If you'd asked me 10 years ago, I'd have had a different answer for you than I do today, but I hadn't educated myself. And then the technologies have advanced so much, the cost has dropped so much for these things, that it certainly is a different answer now. So my easy answer to hit that easy button is education. Whenever I speak with different folks, business owners or residential folks, or anybody for that matter, whenever we really get into, I'll say, the nuts and bolts of it, how these technologies work, what they can really do, and what they really cost, people who were very much against clean energy for whatever reason, they open up and they say, well, okay, I see what you're saying. I didn't realize that. Same as me years ago, I didn't understand it because I wasn't as close to it. I was in the fossil fuel industry, and you hear certain things in that align more so with those goals as opposed to the earth goals, right? Or economic goals. So I think the education is a big part of it. And whenever I'm talking to folks, whether their drive is the environment or whether it's the bottom line, the great thing about clean energy is they all come together, because you can save dollars with clean energy, and that's a big thing. You're helping the economy, you're putting people to work, which is a big thing for me. Is whenever I was working with my tools back in the day, you always wonder about your next job. What's the next job you're going to go to when you finish this one up? And there are so many opportunities with clean energy it's just an endless list. There's so many things we can do, and it helps so many people all at the same time. So long answer to your very easy question, education. I say everybody wants to figure that out of what's really the truth out there.
Wow, that's wonderful, Russ. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And it's also something very important that we need to look at and implement in our everyday lives, because some of the things that you mentioned here are things that we don't even think about every day, things that some of us just take for granted. And when you think about it, like you've mentioned, the environment, it's so important to make sure that we look after our planet, after environment, so that at the end of the day, that our next generation does have a good future, yeah? So, Russ, can you tell us a little bit more about the clients that you guys work with?
Sure. Yeah. The clients are very diverse. Whether we primarily work with small businesses, but we line up with other folks as well. And a small business could be a small project. Maybe it's a 50 kW solar project, or just putting in a level 2 electric vehicle charging station. Or it could be a small client that has a big project. Maybe it's a 5 megawatt project. We're working with one municipality, talking with them about trying to develop a project. They have a lot of land available that it may be able to turn into 150, 200 megawatt community solar type project. So it's very diverse. The folks that we work with, it is some national companies that we talk to and are developing projects, and then it's I'll call them the mom and pop folks who have an operation. I met with a client Friday, just a few days ago, about a project. They've got a manufacturing facility, and they've got some substantial electricity bills, and they're employing a lot of people. They're doing a lot of good work. We can put a project in for them that they're very passionate about the environment, and they want to save money too. So they're looking at this saying, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But it would be a pretty good size project, about 1.5 megawatts to take care of them. Putting people to work, helping that local economy, helping that client to save dollars. That's going to be a big deal. And of course, it's going to be a project that we're going to showcase. It'll be out right there in the front for people to be able to see these solar panels. We talked about that too, yeah, we really want people to see this and know that we care. And maybe that'll spread to the next client right down the road, that they're on a roadway that has several of these manufacturing facilities. So they said, maybe if they see we're doing it, they'll start questioning, and maybe they'll want to do it too. So if we can promote that, that's what we would like. And I love working with those type of folks. It's very exciting.
Yes, of course. That's a very, very good point, Russ. And I can definitely see from what you're saying that clean energy is definitely the future, and it's definitely the way to go. It is very cost effective. It will help the economy, and it will also help with job creation. So, Russ, can you maybe share your contact details with us, where our viewers can get into touch with you, and also the viewers who wants to make a difference? How can they reach you?
The best way is probably on LinkedIn. That's the easiest way. So you can find me on there. I'm pretty easy to access. You can also reach out to us through email. It's Russ at NXTGEN.com. So NXTGEN, cleanenergy.com. Absolutely reach out that way. And our website is nextgencleanenergy.com as well. So pretty easy to find us. You can message us on there, on LinkedIn. Of course, email me. That'd be great.
That's great. Thank you, Russ. We really appreciate it. Russ, is there anything else that you would like to share with our viewers in closing?
I would say I would circle back to the education piece. Don't take my word for it. Don't take the news channel. Really get out there and do your own research and see what's the truth out there, because everybody has their opinion, right? I've certainly got mine. I'm a big advocate for clean energy and what it can do. But I say do your own research and see what makes sense. A company like NXTGEN, of course, we look out for the client. It's not just about putting in a system. It's about what's best for that client, because maybe a system is the right thing, or maybe it's not, and there's other options. So whenever you do look for someone to work with on a project, make sure they're looking out for your best interest. But the biggest message I think I could put out is to really educate yourself and see how these clean energy technologies might be a good fit for your home or for your business, whatever your facility may be. That would be my probably takeaway for this.
Definitely. That is a very, very valuable piece of information. Thank you so much, Russ. We really appreciate it. We want to thank you for your time, and we want to thank you for being with us this afternoon. And everyone, thank you to our viewers. Also, thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm Klarissa Botes from Be Smart Services. We'll see you again on our next YouTube video podcast interview. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and thank you once again. Thank you, Russ.
Thank you.
You're listening to the Be Smart Services podcast. Subscribe to Be Smart Services by Klarissa Botes on YouTube for inspiring interviews with local and international business owners.